For more analysis, joining me now is Stephen Yates, CEO of DC International Advisory and former Deputy National Security Advisor to Vice President Dick Cheney. Stephen, thank you for joining us. You just heard the reports coming out of the Pentagon and the White House. First, let's address China on high alert over North Korea.
Well, it's very important. I think this began, frankly, with the president's meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping at Mar-a-Lago, which was famously interrupted by the strikes in Syria. I think that the president very effectively got the strategic importance of this framed up in the Chinese leaders' mind. I think the Chinese leaders also are increasingly sensitive to the notion that their people aren't necessarily behind them in propping up this regime, that their people run the risk of the fallout, literally and figuratively, of North Korea continuing down this path. And so I think that just the strategic assessment that China has had is perhaps changing somewhat, but it's been a long-term project to get China to take this serious enough to shape the outcome in a better direction.
Could I get your thoughts on that satellite imagery that Jennifer Griffin just showed us from the Pentagon, showing North Korea prepping for possibly another nuke test, and it shows in that imagery volleyball courts, as she mentioned, possibly just a way to blow by time. I don't know. What do you make of what we're seeing there?
Anyone who has followed the intelligence and assessments of North Korea over time is struck by the bizarre nature of the things that they will say and the bizarre things you'll see in these images that are so contradictory with the fact that they're some of the world's worst people with the world's most dangerous weapons. That we're coming up on a possible sixth detonation of a nuclear device is a tragic failure of policy, and it's a major problem for counterproliferation. But yet you've got this bizarre hermit kingdom playing volleyball while waiting around possibly for a big test.
And let's also note the specific threats to the United States coming from North Korea. North Korea saying, "Don't mess with us," a warning of a super mighty strike, saying it will reduce the U.S. to ashes.
Yeah, that kind of rhetoric, it's one of these challenges we have in North Korea is they say some of the, on one hand, more entertaining and flamboyant things, but it's very threatening, and they increasingly have capability to act upon it. At the same time, you can't just sit back and assume it's all a joke. It's definitely not a joke. It's very dangerous. And so we've got ordnance in the area. We have joint military exercises. We have alliances that are concerned and ready to respond. And there's always the risk of miscalculation on the part of the North Korean leader. And the escalation ladder there is very stark. They may be ready to go to a level that we don't even want to contemplate. And that's why I think the president was right to put alliances on notice, rebalance them, refocus them, and to get under the Chinese a little bit to say this is different now.